The first time Kira saw him, she assumed he was fragile. The human looked far too delicate compared to the towering frames of the Zalari, the war-bred species to which she belonged. His skin was pale, his musculature wiry, and his eyes unarmored. He lacked the natural exoskeletal ridges, the taloned hands, the plasma-resilient dermis. To her, he looked more like a toy than a soldier. Yet here he was, stationed on Orphean Outpost, a joint coalition facility orbiting the red dwarf star Syndral 7. Humans had only recently been admitted into the Grand Alliance, and many Zalari like Kira still questioned why. Humans were unpredictable, the officers had said. Humans could improvise, adapt, resist extinction in ways that baffled the most ancient civilizations. Kira had dismissed it as exaggerated diplomacy. She had fought alongside humans for 3 cycles now and still hadn't seen anything that proved them remarkable. Until Rian. The beginning. Kira had been training in the zero-G combat chamber, hurling her massive form across the grid lines, practicing spin strikes with her vibroblade. When she landed, she noticed him watching quietly from the observation deck, sipping from a hydration pouch. "You watching, human?" she barked, her voice echoing through the chamber. Rian smirked. "You Zalari train like you're rehearsing for an opera. Too much flourish, not enough precision." Kira growled, bristling. Zalari rarely tolerated insults to their martial forms. But something in his tone wasn't condescending. It was teasing, playful, like he enjoyed provoking her. She leapt toward him, flipping through low gravity until she clamped her knees onto his shoulders and straddled him where he stood. A show of dominance, harmless fun, the way young Zalari often wrestled to establish hierarchy. She expected him to stumble, to laugh nervously, to push her off with awkward human strength. Instead, his body went rigid. His pupils contracted like targeting reticles. A shiver coursed through him, and suddenly the air around them felt charged, like the seconds before a plasma storm. Kira frowned. "What reaction is this? You freeze." But Rian didn't freeze. His hands shot up, not to shove her, but to grasp her wrists in a vice-like hold she hadn't expected from his frame. He moved with explosive speed, twisting, pivoting, using her own weight and the chamber's microgravity to slam her onto the padded floor beneath him. In less than 3 heartbeats, the towering Zalari warrior lay pinned under the fragile human. Her mandibles flexed in astonishment. No one, not even her instructors, had reversed her in such a clean, calculated maneuver. He leaned close, his breath warm. Lesson 1, Zalari. Never underestimate a human nervous system under stress. And then he released her, stood, and walked out as though nothing extraordinary had happened. The middle. The incident ignited something in Kira. Half fury, half fascination. She couldn't let it go. She challenged him again the next day, and the next. Each time she escalated. Heavier weapons, harder simulations, more intricate strategies. And each time the human surprised her. He wasn't stronger than her. Physically, she could have crushed him. But he anticipated. He read her movements with uncanny accuracy, as if his brain rewrote its own programming mid-battle. What she mistook for fragility was in fact a coiled spring, hidden until the exact moment of release. Soon, their sparring became the talk of Orphean Outpost. Soldiers crowded the chambers, betting credits on which species would triumph. Zalari scoffed, humans cheered, and Kira found herself obsessed. It wasn't just combat. Rian's unpredictability bled into everything. While Zalari organized their thoughts in rigid hierarchies, he spoke in leaps and tangents, connecting disparate ideas as if weaving invisible threads between stars. He showed her human music, haunting melodies compressed into tiny digital files. He laughed at dangers Zalari would approach with solemnity. He called her Kira instead of her full clan name, something no Zalari would dare. And slowly, against all instinct, she began to enjoy his company. But the alliance was fracturing. Beyond Syndral 7, the Caerwettage Dominion massed fleets, preparing to annihilate coalition outposts. The War Council knew Orpheon was vulnerable. When orders came to evacuate civilians and fortify defenses, Kira assumed she and Rian would part ways, as comrades sometimes did. She was wrong. The Dominion attacked sooner than predicted. Swarms of biomechanical ships descended, blotting out the stars. Orpheon shook under the first barrage, and alarms blared across the station. Kira and Rian found themselves deployed side by side in the outer hangar, tasked with holding the breach until evacuation transports could launch. It was chaos. Plasma fire lanced through the corridors. Zalari warriors fell in sprays of acidic blood. The Dominion's drones poured in endless waves, their bodies reshaping mid-combat into whatever weapon form was needed. Kira roared, cleaving through drones with her vibroblade. Rian fought differently, dodging, striking with precision, targeting weak nodes she hadn't noticed. He moved like water, adapting to each threat as though instinct guided him. But then came the shockwave. A Dominion breacher detonated near the hangar bulkhead, hurling Kira across the bay. She struck a support pillar, her armor fracturing, vision blurring. Through the haze, she saw drones converging on her. And then Rian. He sprinted straight into the swarm, reckless, suicidal. His body blurred with motion, each strike placed with terrifying intent. For the first time, Kira saw him unleash fully, no restraint. His eyes blazed with that same storm she had glimpsed when she straddled him in training, but magnified, unleashed. He tore through drones as if something primal had awakened, something beyond discipline. She realized then. Humans weren't extraordinary because of strength or weapons. They were extraordinary because, when pressed beyond their limits, they changed. They became something more. The revelation. By the time reinforcements arrived, the hangar floor was littered with shattered drones. Rian collapsed beside her, chest heaving, body bruised and bloodied. Kira stared at him in disbelief. You should not be alive. No human should. He grinned weakly. Guess no one told me that. As medics rushed in, Kira felt something inside her shift. She had once thought straddling him was a harmless gesture, a game to establish dominance. But it had awakened a reaction far deeper than she had imagined, not just in him but in herself. The Dominion assault was repelled, but Orpheon lay in ruins. Evacuation was ordered. Amid the wreckage, the two of them shared long silences, neither admitting how close they had come to death. One night, in the shattered observation deck where stars shone through cracked transparisteel, Kira asked the question that gnawed at her. What are you, Rian? No Zalari fights as you do. No logic explains it. He thought for a long time before answering. I'm human. We're built strange. We break easy, but we don't stay broken. Every time something pushes us too far, we rewire, adapt, become different than before. She studied him, recalling every battle, every unexpected twist. That is why the Alliance values you. Not strength, not endurance, but your reaction. Exactly, he said softly. It changes everything.